We fight as we train.
The biggest reason we do training is to stay prepared, to stay fit, and to have a safer crew, a safer firefighter for the citizens of Charlotte County.
All of our personnel combined, we're at over 84,000 hours in training, and that's annually over 240 personnel.
This breaks down to 350 hours a year for every member of the Charlotte County Fire and EMS team.
It's about being ready. It's that insurance policy.
One, cut.
During the fall of 2016, Charlotte County Fire and EMS Administration, along with county commissioners, dedicated a brand new 5-story training facility located on the property of their Airport Road headquarters.
It's made up of 9 Connex boxes, or shipping boxes. So basically we have 5 of them that are 40 feet long, and then we have 4 of them that are 20 feet long. And what they do is they have provided us the opportunity to do all sorts of training, anywhere from fire training to special operations training. So we can actually burn inside of it. We can do search and rescue operations where we've blacked out or smoked up the inside of it. We have walls that can be moved and repositioned to kind of change the layout. We also have built in there the capability of doing confined space rescue training, where we have a vault, a small tube that you have to go down into, be lowered into, and pull victims out of. And we also can do high angle rescue out of it, so all the way up to the 5th story up there on top of the roof. And then also we have the capability of doing structural collapse, so we can shore the building up from the inside and the outside.
Training and being prepared to respond to any scenario involves more than fighting house fires. In Charlotte County, our fire and EMS personnel regularly practice how to safely remove victims from the wreckage of serious vehicle accidents.
We encounter traffic accidents all the time. I-75 goes right through our county, and the speeds are high, and when the accidents happen, they can be very severe. So actually, in extrication, we take the vehicle away from the patient. People think we take the patient out of the vehicle. We actually take the vehicle away from the patient and then remove the patient.
Thanks to a local salvage yard, the department has a ready supply of vehicles to cut apart.
Our environment changes constantly. The types of vehicles that they're made from, we have the Ford aluminum body trucks now. We have the new electric vehicles, the hybrids coming out. So it's a standard that keeps changing. So in order for us to stay ahead of the curve, we constantly train.
And then the boat's going to bring us back around.
Justin Smoke is the lieutenant in charge of another specialty area, the Marine Operations Unit. The Fire and EMS Marine Unit uses 2 specially equipped boats to patrol the 270 square miles of water that makes up Charlotte Harbor.
We train for the typical stuff that we get, as well as the atypical stuff that we get. Everything from inshore drownings to offshore searches to land-based medical emergencies or trauma situations.
Along with being highly trained emergency personnel, the job requires the Marine Operations Unit to train in navigation and boating operations.
It's very dependent on weather, tides, currents. We have a lot of, typically when we go out in a distress call, a lot of times it's in adverse weather situations. So we have to be familiar with all of our passes, where we can go, where we can't go with our boats. Depending on if it's high tide or low tide may affect our rescue for that day.
Smoke says he uses his training exercises to assess the team's response and techniques and to look for ways to improve.
And that's the time where we can all stop and talk and get multiple points of view on it. During the emergency situation, then it's not time to stop and redo. You don't get a redo in that situation.
Another specialty unit in the county is the Hazardous Materials Response Team.
There are many businesses in the community that have, as a part of their operations, hazardous chemicals and hazardous conditions within their facilities. And not only that, but just your typical residential garage. Do you have a pool? Do you have pool chemicals in your garage? That's a very hazardous material, especially when it is when fire and smoke is introduced to it.
The Hazardous Materials Response Team is trained to handle emergencies involving propane or natural gas leaks, acid spills, gasoline spills, chemical spills, and chlorine and vapor leaks. The Punta Gorda Airport is the home of Station 7, where firefighters have specialized skills and are called Aircraft Rescue Firefighters, ARF for short. The Federal Aviation Administration places additional training requirements on ARF units. Every airport with commercial service is required to practice extinguishing fire once a year. Thankfully, actual emergencies involving fire at the Punta Gorda Airport are rare. So in order for the ARF units to comply with federal regulations, they have to travel to specialty locations like the Fire Academy at Florida State College in Jacksonville, where they can practice multiple real-life scenarios.
This gives us a chance to do live fire training on a simulated aircraft fuselage. It's extremely hot. You're in your full gear, your firefighter gear with your air pack and your air mask on. Especially a day like today, the humidity's up, the conditions are tough. You're pulling the hose as you would in a real situation, you're advancing, you're opening doors, you're searching for victims in a high heat area, so it's pretty tough.
While not as tough as pulling hoses, but equally important, the ARF units also practice putting out fuel fires with Purple K fire extinguishers. Purple K is a dry chemical fire suppression agent which is very effective at extinguishing flammable liquids like jet fuel.
Training is one of our biggest things that we do.
So whether it's training on the runway, out on the water, or on the street, the goal of the exercise is always to simulate real-life conditions, providing emergency personnel with vital hands-on experience in a controlled environment. That way, if and when the Charlotte County Fire and EMS respond to a real emergency, they have the knowledge, skill, and ability to concentrate on saving lives. Reporting for CCTV, I'm Todd Dunn.